Can you imagine a world without any plastics? Well, before 1907, that was our reality. Since then, we've managed to generate so much plastic that its mass is double the biomass of all the animals on Earth. And while we've all been confronted by the looming threat of microplastics, what makes them so harmful? Microplastics are ubiquitous. They have literally been found everywhere: the highest mountain peaks, the deepest oceans, and even inside living organisms. They are also practically indestructible. They never biodegrade, they simply get smaller and smaller, hence microplastics. And they are also made of harmful chemicals. Scientists have discovered at least 16,000 chemicals in plastics, 4,200 of which are categorized as highly hazardous to human health and the environment, and a staggering 10,000 of them have no safety or hazard data. The group of chemicals that I will be looking into are bisphenols. There are currently 148 known types of bisphenols, but I will be specifically looking at BPA and its alternatives, BPS and BPF. Bisphenols are an endocrine-disrupting chemical, which means they can imitate or block hormone receptors. And since they share a similar chemical structure to estrogen, they can imitate its effects and compete for the estrogen receptors alpha and beta. Estrogen is a key hormone in bone formation. It maintains balance for bone remodeling cells. So an estrogen receptor blockage leads to increased rates of osteoclasts and decreased rates of osteoblasts. Osteoblasts are cells that form bone. So less osteoblasts means less bone formation, less bone mineralization, and this can lead to skeletal defects. On the other hand, osteoclasts are cells that break down bone tissue in order to release calcium in a process called bone reabsorption. So more osteoclasts means that bone is being broken down faster than it can form, and this can also lead to skeletal defects. And while we know that this process occurs, we are unsure of the underlying mechanisms. To bridge this gap, I will be looking at epigenetic mechanisms, specifically DNA methylation. An epigenetic mechanism is a biological process that alters gene expression without impacting the DNA sequence itself. These are typically triggered by an environmental stimuli, can be passed on to future generations, and its effects can be positive, such as enhanced memory, or negative, such as increased vulnerability to disease. And then DNA methylation is the addition of a methyl group to a cytosine base, which typically results in a gene silencing. My goal is to establish the mechanistic links between bisphenol exposure and skeletal birth defects via epigenetic modification. Uncovering these mechanisms will be crucial to developing strategies that will mitigate the damages caused by bisphenols. And to end off with a little history lesson, in the past we had a major problem with lead poisoning, and a large part of that was due to the usage of leaded gasoline. Leaded gasoline was marketed as ethyl gasoline in order to be purposely misleading, and this was because the dangers of lead were known long before its use. We have a similar problem nowadays with BPA-free products. These are also misleading because while they may not contain BPA, they contain other bisphenols such as BPS and BPF. I find it troubling how we've transitioned from lead as a naturally occurring environmental toxicant to thousands of unregulated chemicals with unknown potential health risks. I hope that my research raises awareness on these synthetic substances and also encourages action to curb the unchecked expansion of plastic production. Thank you.